Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Harmon, along with Angela, and we got an amazing show for you tonight. Hope everybody is doing well this week. It is the first episode or our first show of the new year. Oh no, last week was the first show of the new year, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I think it was, yes.
Okay, it's the second show of the new year then. All right, and we got some great people already popping in the chat room. We got Joey and we got Mystic, and I want to say hello to everybody who's watching us and everybody who is in the chat room. We love having you here. And how are you doing, Angela? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, your sound went out a little bit, but I can hear you now.
Oh, is that better?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I was asking
Yes.
how you're doing this week.
Sure, I'm actually doing pretty good. There's a lot going on. I have my continuing education credit I have to fulfill. I'm doing let me show you some artwork I've done. Though I'm painting a lot because I'm getting a lot of messages and this like my stream's cutting in and out. Just a moment. Okay, so this painting I recently got finished. And as you can see, it looks like these two kind of, I guess, techno zombies, you might call them, or spirits, a mix of spirit and technology and people, and they're walking away from a city.
Oh, that is beautiful. I like that.
And I believe this was a message from the Blessed Mother, and she was saying, and like this is a warning. Like I asked her every year, like for what message do you have from the Blessed Mother for this year? And she's warning about our fusion with AI, like pulling us away from spirit, and people like they not paying attention to their spirit. They're so wrapped up. They're even wrapped up so much in this technology, and their self worth is wrapped up in technology.
Oh yeah, that I love the draw.
Right.
I love how you did that. Yeah, we got people in the chat room saying good evening to us, and we got one from Crafty that says, interesting. Looks like an electrical plug head. Sorry about that.
Yes, there's the charger for the head, and you see that it's kind of cracked. And then you have this, and he's walking, and he doesn't really have much of a head. His feet's, is disconnected. He's got wires, cables for hands that look like they've been ripped. And then you have this other being that's got a mix of claws, uh, damage, has a monitor that's on for a head instead of a normal human head, but it's kind of the mix of everything, and um, kind of a warning against that being integrated so much in technology that you forget leave your spirit behind. And
Oh
that's,
yes,
I guess you would call that surrealism style of art.
yes. And I recently, over the weekend, spent 2 days at a disclosure conference. We had some amazing guest speakers at the conference. We had a Preston Dennett. We had Rebecca Hardcastle. We had Alan Seinfeld. Just a whole slew of individuals. It was an amazing day. The first day ran almost 9 hours. Second day finished off with 6.5 hours, and there was so much talk and discussion on disclosure and getting the government to release the information on UFOs and what they know. And a lot of people were sharing their stories of encounters, and we even had the famous Michael Shred. And for those who do not know who Michael Shred is, look him up online. He is an amazing individual. He takes firsthand witness encounters and stories, and then he has somebody that draws in detail what the person saw, and then he has that drawing put into like 4K, crystal clear, high def. It is amazing, and And like he says, all you need is one person to be truthful about having an encounter, and you've had your disclosure. And he got over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of encounters that he's made into photos, and it's amazing to listen to him speak. And the whole weekend was fantastic. We had so many individuals, guest speakers, and talking about how to raise your positivity level and how to manifest your dreams into reality. And what I found so amazing about that was the fact that we as humans, we live inside this body, but we are actually a conscience, and we can pretty much no, we can not pretty much, we can manifest our own visions into reality, and we do that simply by stating what we want. And we don't say we hope we can. We do not say we think we can. We do not say it's possible. We give ourselves that guarantee, and we envision that. And when we envision in our minds what we really want in this world, I mean, really truly envision it, and then walk and act as if it is happening or that it has happened, it can become a reality. It will become a reality. But the problem is with a lot of people is, instead of saying that they can and they will, some people say, well, I hope so, perhaps, and maybe. And they're given enough doubt because they say, you are what you believe in a way. And when we give ourselves doubt, then we lose that manifestation that we could be having, because we need to start saying, everybody should start saying, because at this point everybody's got resolutions, New Year's resolutions, things they want to accomplish. But if they were to start even just today, and from every day this day forward, say, I will accomplish this, or I will do that, I will, and say that every day, I will, or that I have, and visualize it, believe it, make it so. It will become reality, because positivity brings positivity. But if you have even an ounce of negative, then you have the possibility of tracking in negative, because the more positive you have, the more positive your outlook on life is going to be, and you can manifest, like I said, manifest your dreams and wants into reality. And I know that for a fact. I have achieved everything because of the fact that I said to myself, I will
Mm-hmm.
do this, and this, and make it so. And we have some great people in the chat. Sorry for my rambling. We got some great people in the chat. That We've got a question for Angela. We're going to start off with a Crafty. Crafty says, Angela, I did have a conversation with my family New Year's Day. It was friendly, but to the point. I hope it helps. Time will tell. Thanks for helping.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I also see that Chris said that, sorry, right out of the gate at work now was a rough day. Just had to put my dog to sleep today. Does Nugget have any messages for Mom and I tonight? Please pray. Oh, please and thank you. So I'm sorry to hear about that, Chris. It's always hard to lose a pet. Really
It
hard.
is.
But it's been my experience too that for them, it's just another transition, and they do visit us and they do like to stay with us and comfort us. You know, when they know that we no longer have their body. So Chris, I'll just draw the runes and just see if Nugget has anything to say for you.
I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sure it'll come around to see you. They always come back to see the ones they love. Everybody does.
So the first one I got is Ansus. So Ansus is the rune of speaking. So Ansus is mean, yes, I'm speaking, I'm speaking. So he has a message. The next rune is Sowilo, which is joy, peace, success. It's the sun, it's the light. And Nugget keeps telling me, like, the light is so beautiful. The light is so beautiful here. That's the main thing, is because I keep seeing light and I keep getting that impression of so much beauty. Like, wow, like it's so beautiful in this. I feel my body is very free. It feel like it used to ache, but now it's not aching. It feels very comfortable, very happy, and there's this kind of joy that I'm getting. The next rune I got is Wunyo. So Wunyo is peace. So Nugget is letting you know that Nugget has crossed over. the light is beautiful over there and is at peace. And I feel this reassurance is like, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. Um, and I feel like Nugget is saying like, I I haven't really left. And when um I'm seeing like his like it's almost like he's swirling, like Nugget is swirling in the light and he's like, "Wee." And I feel like he's going to be visiting you. And it's like, "Don't worry, I'll be back. I'll visit you." And what I'm being shown is like you'll be seeing Nugget, like you'll be just glancing around on your day-to-day business and just look around, and then you'll just see Nugget appear in the living room, like just appear very
Right.
brief, get a brief glimpse. And I feel like Nugget is definitely going to be showing. Um, I can't determine if Nugget's a male or a female, but I feel more male than female. But Nugget seems to be indicating to me um, when I'm more male. He's saying like, "I'm going to be right there. You're going to just going about your day, and you're sitting in a chair, and you just look and you see him like at your feet, like he's going to appear to you." That's what I'm feeling. Yeah.
And Chris
Yes,
says,
maybe you confirm male. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I was feeling more male energy. So thanks for confirming that. And Nugget must be a smaller dog, right? Like a is he kind of like a dachshund, like a dachshund?
that's kind of what I'm seeing in my mind, like a little dash hound. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, he
Yes.
says a chihuahua. Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. Okay. Chihuahua. Okay. Yeah.
They're very beautiful dogs.
Oh, okay. Chihuahua. I always thought I was seeing a dachshund, but then I was seeing small dogs. Um, so definitely Nugget is saying that he's going to appear to you and he's going to appear towards your feet and you'll be sitting there, you make watching TV and he's going to appear towards your feet. So just keep your heart and your mind open and Nugget will appear to you. If you think you see him, most likely you did. But I got him that he's being specific, like I'm going to be appear around your feet when you're sitting in a chair watching TV someday.
And Chris says, "Ah, we buried him in the sunlight by a bush that will grow flowers. Oh, that's beautiful."
Oh. Oh, they want to know, did Nugget make the shampoo or hose fall in the evening? Oh, that's interesting.
Might have been letting you know that he's still around.
So I have Vegas, which is light, and I got Ingwas, which is male. And okay, so the next rune. Okay, he's showing me like pushing it with his nose, and he says he's trying to show you that he's hasn't really left. He's in the light, but he's going to be visiting you. I kept seeing like he's like little push from his nose. So and he says,
Ah,
I'm trying, and he's trying to let you know that he's there. But he says, I'm feeling like you said, trust in your heart that I'm still there. Trust in your heart, I'm still with you.
yeah, he'll always be with you. I feel like he'll come around and see you a lot more this summer too. I feel like he's going to be around a lot more, playing and horsing around, and just doing his little thing. I mean, you'll know he's there too, 'cause you'll get that feeling, and you'll also hear him.
Right. I feel like we lost a dog named Eugene. Now we knew he had cancer when we got him, and we just made sure he had his best life, and he was a little shelty. And I feel him around me at times. It's like each dog, there's a certain presence. It's almost like a certain frequency that they're on, and you feel their frequency with you. And I've had him come through in a spirit box. His little barks, little Sheltie. They got little high pitched barks. And I asked Eugene, "Will you speak?" And he would come through with a bark. And I really appreciated that with him, and I actually have his ashes still.
Oh wow, that's awesome. All right, and so if anybody has any questions, please put it in the chat. Angela would love to answer. And if you have any questions for me about anything I do, because I do a lot of UFO work, I do a lot of paranormal work. We just filmed a paranormal show over the weekend. I don't know when exactly that will air, but it was a great show that we filmed. We really we helped a lady out that needed some help. I can't go into details on that. I don't want to spoil the show, but we gave her the help she needed. And in fact, coincidentally, I feel like her house will be much more peaceful now after all the wonderful work we did for her. And also, we're getting ready to start another round of my remote
Wonderful. It
viewing
is.
courses.
I mean, you could feel a difference.
Beg your pardon?
Oh, I was just saying that people can feel a difference too, because I mean, you could feel an energy change. I was with the group and we helped some people, and this person was using an Ouija board, and he brought in this not so kind spirit, put it that way. And I had a kind of a nightmare at the same time the other person at this house did before they even made the call to us. It was like the same night, and then it was the same theme. And once we got over there, and I helped crossing over a man who was there, a a woman who was appearing as a teenager there, but she had died when she was in her 80s, and then this other woman who was this kind of a witch figure. It would come in, and she was actually um, possessing other souls and using them and to her own ends, and she was very negative. And finally pushed her out of the space and asked the Blessed Mother to come in and bless the space. And these were like college age kids, and they called us after I asked permission to let Holy Mother's blessing to be on the house and to protect the home with peace. And they actually called and said, "We've never felt so much peace in this space." And these are college kids. The college kids don't talk like this, right? They're concerned
No.
about partying and things like that. And the difference was incredible.
Oh, yeah. Good Mystic says, I would like to ask the ruins, what does in feel for me?
Okay, let's ask.
I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight and everybody in the chat room. We love having you here.
Okay, so the first rune I got was Urus, but inverted. Um, so there's a tenderness towards you, and he feels weak. This person feels weak around you, like as if they don't have the strength to say no to you. And the next rune I got is Algae. So Algae is the rune of sanctuary of protection. There's a desire to feel protective of you, to protect you. And let me get the last rune here. And I got Ingwas. So Ingwas, and I got the sense of protection, like wanting to keep you, like wanting to maintain this relationship.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Angela. Fantastic job. And Crafty wants to know, what does the rest
Okay, and
of
then Chris
January?
was asking,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, okay, what's the rest of January for you? And then also, Chris wanted to know, seeing 111 more frequently, any significant there? That's also, I've seen that before. I usually get 1111 or 222s, things like that. That is more of your spirit guides trying to reach out to you. And they're trying to let you know. They're trying to steer you right past. So they just use numbers since, and the
Right.
angelic realm is the heavenly realm is all mathematically based. So they communicate with numbers. The mathematics is the language of the universe. So when they're using 111, that's usually the number of creation tripled. 111. That's your spirit guide letting you know about, hey, pay attention. We're paying attention to you, pay attention to us. and you could actually look up angel number 111. But my experience with men like 1111 and 111 has been like reminding me of my destiny. Like we're reminding you your original soul contract and why you're actually here. So that I associate with the higher self. Your higher self remembers all your past lives and your purpose for being here. So that is a call to remember your soul purpose. Okay, and then we have somebody else had a question. Would like to ask the runes what does it mean from go from me? I'll answer that. And then Crafty, what is the rest of January is for me? Okay, so that was the one I wanted to answer next. So okay, Crafty, the rest of January. Let's see what the runes have to say. Okay, so the first rune I got is this is mana. So this is intellect, wisdom. It's also the rainbow bridge that connects the spirit and the physical realm with us. And actually feel spirit reaching out to you. It feels like what I'm being shown is an image of kind of darkness, but then I see this little tiny light shining in the darkness. And it's just, I can see like there are dripping messages to you from the other side. And it feels like this is happening around you. It feels like you get a thought that you didn't expect. It feels like you get a thought or something like it just comes out of nowhere. And he's like, huh, where did that come from? And it just feels like it's the other side just gently guiding you.
Right.
And the next rune I got for you, this is Al. So Algis is the rune of sanctuary, but you also there's three types of energy, right? So you have positive, negative, and neutral into one. But this is also the cosmic tree, the universal tree represents the U tree and protection, and the elk as well. What I'm getting for this for January is like to focus on your spiritual and mental protection because you're going to need a lot of fortitude for what's coming up next. So you'll need to have a strong faith, strong mental health, um, strong self control, right? Don't let your emotions overwhelm you, right? That you'll have to have discipline. You'll have to be in a good place to handle what's to come. And the next rune I got, this is land goose. So land goose is growth in its flow, its life. It represents the leak or a wave of water. And what I'm getting off of this is that use this time in January to focus on your growth, your personal growth, your mental, spiritual, and also your emotional health so that you'll be better prepared for what's coming. And I feel like um, for everyone that January is going to be challenging for a lot of people for the rest of January because something big is coming up, and I feel like it's going to be affecting everybody and not leave anybody untouched. And it's not a good thing. It's more of a economic implosion of some kind. And it's going to be a challenge for every single one of us. And we just have to be prepared mentally and like stay calm, emotionally, spiritually, get prepared for that. So we have faith that will help get us through that. And we're not panicking and we're not making rash decisions, but rather we're calm and we're prepared and like, okay, I can handle this. I'm going to handle this one step at a time. It's that kind of attitude like we all kind of need. So the message for you can really apply to all of us.
Right. And
And I would encourage people.
go ahead, Angela.
I would encourage people to pay attention to your dreams because in a situation like this, that you don't know the exact time when this is going to happen, but I feel like this is going to be this year and soon. Is that pay attention, like write down your dreams, pay attention to what your guides are showing you, and try to pay attention to repeated imagery that doesn't seem to relate to your current life. Because it's
Right.
been my experience when you see that repeated imagery, that's a warning from either your guides or even from your higher self telling you what's up next, what kind of things you're going to be seeing next in the near future. And when I see the same images over and over again, and it's not related to my current life, those things tend to show up in real life and tend to be predictions of what was going to happen and the type of things I was going to see and the type of things I'm going to feel. So I suggest that you pay attention to your intuition, because if you get a sudden bad feeling, hey, I shouldn't be in this city at this time. I don't know what's going down. I need to turn around. I need to back out. You might want to pay attention to that because what's coming is big.
Right. I feel the same way. And we got a good question in the chat. He says, "Hey, may I please have a message from my guides? Thank you." This is from
Yes,
Nicole.
Natalie.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, Natalie
Let's
Rush.
yeah, let's see what your guides have in store for you, Natalie.
Yeah, looking forward
By
to
the way,
this.
happy
And
New
that's a
Year to
great,
everybody.
yes. So the first rune I got for you, for Natalie, this is Yara. So this is the rune of um, 1 year. It represents 1 year, but it's also harvest. And the impression I'm getting is that your hard work is about to pay off, because what I'm being told by your guides is like you spent a lot of time working with your guides and getting in tune spiritually. And this is about to pay off in a very big way. The next rune I got for you, I have Algies again, protection and sanctuary. And what I'm hearing from your guides, and I have a male for your guide, he's coming through and says, "You are protected. You are protected." And I keep getting male. This is a male who is your spirit guide. He looks relatively young. He has brown hair. Um, he wears more modern clothes. So I see him kind of in loose clothing. I see him kind of in long pants and a kind of a loose shirt. So it's more like, to me, like a 1970s or early 80s kind of vibe with him.
Yep.
And then the last rune I got here is Daygaz. Daygaz is
Ooh.
enlightenment. And with him, I get the impression that he's saying, yes, um, he's saying that you understand the spirit world. You understand, you have a firm grasp of how spirit guides work, and he appreciates all the work you put into this. And he says that he's going to show you so much more, and the spirit world is going to manifest so much more. So you're going to be starting developing your intuition, where you are starting to see spirits. But don't be afraid, because this is part of your teaching journey. And this male
Exactly.
who's with you, I feel like late 70s, early 80s era is the era that I'm getting that he's kind of from. Um, and he looks relatively young. And to me, he feels like, okay, it feels like he is kind of an old soul, but he was only here a short time and gone, because he already fulfilled his spiritual purpose and was here and was gone. So that's why he looks at the age that he does. But he
Right.
is definitely around you, and he's very clear in his communication.
I see that too. Yes. All right. We got some great people in the chat. We got great people here tonight. This is wonderful. Um, Crafty says, thank you so much, Crafty. Enjoy your New Year's or New Year. It's a year full of possibilities and things that may make us a little confused, but I think the American public can overcome anything that happens this year if they put their mind, body, and soul into it.
Absolutely. I was getting the impression of people, and I've been seeing this for a long time. I've been seeing this implosion going to happen for a long time, and I was showing some really awful things like gangs going around, and you had to be careful about your physical safety. But I also saw these small communities popping up, where people built new communities that where they could trust each other, they depended on each other, they looked out for each other, they treated each other with incredible value and respect and love with each other. And these little communities will be popping up in spite of all these difficulties. And these are these little communities of light. And I mean that gives me hope. I mean that gives us, that gives me hope that we have the potential to turn everything on its head. So all the old order of things were kind of the people that had the most financial wealth and therefore controlled the military and controlled our lives and all of that, that's being toppled. And then those of us who have been subjects to that for a very long time have the chance to take matters into our own hands by just simply
Right.
building the communities we always want to live in, not by rebelling, not by taking up arms, but simply living in the communities and creating our own communities that we want to live in. Because everything outside of that collapsed, and nobody wants to live in a collapsed world. We want to live in a world that a new society that's more about fairness and value of the human being as opposed to how much you can produce.
Exactly. All right. And let's see here. What else do we have in the chat we haven't acknowledged yet?
Let's see,
Thank
Dowdow's
you.
in there. Chris,
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody
hi
who's came.
Dowdow. And then Chris asked about those communities different. Okay, the 15-minute cities. What I was shown were like the lockdown cities. Okay, I was actually shown like martial law. I was showing armed guards. You were not allowed to leave the city, and there was barbed wire outside that city, and you got a pass. And if your pass wasn't a certain color or a certain code, you were not allowed of your home.
Right.
And that deeply controlled is what I was seeing. And people that were living further out that established these communities, these were more communities that were more rural. They were like you were saying, like Dowdell's mentioned, more like the Amish communities. Yes, more like the Amish. So more like the self-sufficient communities. And the communities that I saw were way out in the country, and they lived like the 1800s essentially, but they still had some modern technology built into it. Like, for example, they use a laptop to coordinate the lights in the barns and take
Whoa.
care of the animals and things like that. But transportation I was saw was non-existent as far as modern transportation. They relied on animals like horses and mules to get around, which it's kind of a weird mix of 1800s and modern technology, because the technicians, right, the people that have the
Yeah.
knowledge are still going
Right.
to be have these communities, right, and they're going to be setting those things up to kind of automate the barns and things like that. But I also saw that the people in the communities valued life so much better, and they took care of animals so much better. It's like every animal life was precious, every human life was precious, and
It
the
is
most
very
highest demand commodity was education, was history, and books became valuable again. They were as worth more than gold is now. And that's like I've been seeing this for years. So when I see this being repeated, when I see something being repeated, this is something I'm being shown in the future. So save your books.
right.
You're going to need those when there's no grid, and if you've managed to go out in these communities and you're contributing those communities, bring your books.
Yep. All right. Let's get back to some of the wonderful people in the chat room. You guys are fantastic. The comments are rolling in. Let's see.
And the Dada asked about what the 15-minute cities are. So there, just to briefly explain, there is a initiative, and I believe is what the World Economic Forum had set up for, is to kind of keep people within a certain radius. So, in other words, you are not allowed to leave outside of your radius, outside your zone, and everything is supposed to be within 15 minutes of you. Your work, um, your food, your everything's supposed to be, all your services are supposed to be right there.
Right.
And they're supposed to be, and the idea is to eliminate um, transportation as far as fossil fuel transportation, that you would go by bicycle or some alternative transportation or mass transit that's more environmentally friendly. At least that's how it's being packaged. but also in that initiative by the World Economic Forum, they wanted to keep everybody in these tiny apartments and squeeze
Right.
everybody in. So you would essentially need permission to go anywhere. It would be like a little kind of like a little prison community would be the best
Oh, yes, definitely.
put that. And it's smart city being controlled by AI. So AI would determine whether you can leave your house and at what times and at what temperature to keep your heating bills, and it would turn down your heating bills in the
Yep.
winter or your heat in the winter, and then you just have to suffer and been through. It's like being managed like cattle or probably or chickens or something like that, or as things,
Yep.
not as people. Because I've seen farmers treat their animals much better than that.
We got a comment here from Chris. He says, hey, I think odd with that I was mentioning, if you saw any time frame.
Well, as far as a time indication, uh, when I start seeing these, I knew I was older. I knew I was younger, but I am very close to the age I am in those dreams that I was having, because I started having these dreams and visions about this when I was
Yeah.
roughly, I would say 15, 16. And I saw
Right.
myself, I could see myself getting older and older, and it's kind of what I look like now was kind of what I look like in those dreams. And because I was remarking to myself, like, I'm never gonna have long hair. I'm just gonna keep my hair short. And well, look at me now. I have long hair. I had long hair in those visions, and I had a feel for my age. So I can see it's pretty close in time, and that economic implosion, which could be the trigger for this rapid progression towards that reality, happens this year.
I completely agree. I think everybody's going to be in for, I don't want to say a rude awakening, but in for a surprise when they wake up and things are a little bit different. But it'll be for our better, higher good, though. I firmly believe that.
Right, and
And it
then
looks
some
like,
people you have to you can't if they refuse to learn or refuse to go about it, those are the people that are not going to be able to transcend. Those of us who've had are tuned in the spirit world, we're going to get that forewarning. We know the communities. We already, there's preppers that that always felt that kind of wording, right? Something triggering them to prep, and we're going to be in those communities that are about peace and love, and we just have to trust one another and be part of those outer communities, because the what I was shown, those cities, you don't want to go to them. They would be 100. I was shown one scenario, they were 100% AI controlled. Everybody had a chip
right.
in their head, and if you experience an independent thought, you that AI would punish you with extreme pain.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, that would be definitely be
So
painful. And
yeah.
yeah. All right. Do we have any more final questions in the chat from anybody? We love to hear from you. It's because of you guys that we get to do this every week. We love having you here. And if anybody would like to watch the conference that I was at yesterday, please send me a message or let me know somehow, and I'll be sure to get back with you and send you the link to watch it. It was a great conference. We had so many wonderful speakers. For those who arrived late, I went to a conference over the weekend, and I saw some of the greats in the field of ufology and other areas. Leonard Stringfield, Preston Dennett, Richard Dolan. The list goes on and on. It was fantastic 2 days, and yeah, it really was fantastic. I highly recommend watching it. We got a question. Chris
Right,
says,
and then go ahead.
"Yeah, Chris says, how much can we really prep though? Not mentioning to be a movie, but I just feel like it had to pay, like I had to prep to a certain degree. If that makes any sense."
Right. So it prepping, and it's hard to prepare for everything because you don't know what scenario you're going to run into. I mean, you don't know but um, from my experience, because I was in, that I just learned a lot of these things when they had a war in Europe, and it was in the 90s, and you had Serbia, a lot of Serbian refugees coming over, and they were telling us what to prep for, what to prepare for, because they already been through a collapse. And they were saying water, number one, weapons, number two, water and weapons important. But also, they were saying things like, I mean, if you believe in saving up for gold, that they would use jewelry instead of buying like bars of gold and give them jewelry because they don't think you're rich or nothing, but if you have to give away a ring, they just think you're giving away something you inherited, right, as a barter or a trade, right? Not something that you've got money and you've got gold bars,
Right.
because that will actually make them more aggressive and they want to steal from you. And that way, if you have jewelry, they think, oh, you're giving away great aunt's ring or whatever jewelry, and they're on hard times, and that's why they're doing it. Now that was a prep thing, so that people would buy their gold and their silver and jewelry. So if there was no currency, they could trade in jewelry, and that's something that the Vikings even did. The Vikings would have gold
Oh
or
yeah.
silver rings on them, and
Yep.
whenever they had to go anywhere and they couldn't use any currency, they would actually cut off a ring and then cut off a piece of the silver and use that for currency. So
Yep.
that's one thing they would tell us about. Another aspect in which, I agree with Edgar Casey in Padre Pio, St. Padre Pio, we all saw something very similar happening. And they were all indicating, like, be spiritually prepared. I mean, you have to have strong faith, and you'd have to have a strong mind and find a way to not get yourself down. And you might want to prep with things too when it comes to food items. Throw in a few food items that's a comfort food for you, like chocolate or snacks or something. Just a few things that will kind of lift your mood up. And you want to have to adhere to something that's going to keep you going, right? For a lot of people, that may be reading a Bible every day, and this, or like reading Bible verse or reading something from the Psalms, or that would keep you up, or have your rosary and pray the
Right.
rosary, or just pray every day. Whatever faith you adhere to, something that's going to keep you going. And if they've done studies, the military's done studies on this, and they said that faith was the biggest number one um, what got people through, especially soldiers and POWs that have been tortured, that got them through was their faith. So there's all sorts of way of prepping. It's not just food, water, self-defense, which I have a self-defense background, and
Yep.
but also faith, and and make sure that you. I think the biggest thing from my own experience, I was kidnapped when I was a child, and from my own experience, keep a level head.
Oh yes.
Keep a level. You can't. It'll save your life. Okay. And Dowd asked, what about the straw man money all, that we all are going to get over $1 million, right? Printing money, and that's pretty typical of governments to print money when they have nothing left to rely on, and they'll go to war. We've already seen them you know,
Right.
invading another country like Venezuela. Like, we had no jurisdiction over Venezuela, and just go and grab somebody out of Venezuela.
Yep.
Um, uh, exactly, you'll see that, and if you pay attention to history. So if you learn about the history of Rome, how it collapsed, you're seeing something very similar. You saw it with the Weimar Republic. You saw in Zimbabwe what the governments will tend to do. They'll make high promises and they'll start printing money like crazy. And just in the past few months, I have been seeing um, the feds pumping in money, just printing money to prop up markets and even a major bank that was going to fail if it didn't get a
Yep.
few $1 billion. And that can't last forever. And you get to a situation like in the Weimar Republic, this was in Germany, where uh, they took a wheelbarrow of money to try
Yep.
and pay for a loaf of bread. You have runaway inflation, so that's what we're in now. And one proposal, one way to doing that is to switch everything to digital currency. But if you do that, then the government would be the sole control of what you could buy or sell and whether or not you have
Right.
access to it. Either you'd have to have a mark to have access to your money that is literally made out of thin air and doesn't really exist to buy and sell, and we'll tell you what to buy and sell. And we'll start rationing food. I mean, those are the types of things I was seeing. And see, it would instantly collapse because the debt was so high and so crushing.
I feel the exact same way. I want to say thank you so much for everybody. The chat room is really doing wonderful. Any final questions for Angela before we leave? And folks, after this show comes my own show that I like to do twice a week, Monday nights and Fridays. It's called the Fright Files, and I count down 7 frightful stories from the least frightful to the most frightful at the very end. And I dare anybody to be able to sit through a whole episode. It is a wonderful show. Got a little bit of fear to it, but it's great.
Absolutely encourage you to watch that. And yeah, watch out because these promises and it's just printing money. It's just running the printing press. And anytime you have more in circulation, that drives down the value. Less in circulation means higher value. So they're flooding a lot of circulation going on, and we don't really have a manufacturing base to recover. So there's a lot. This could get very scary fast. So this is why I encourage you when you come to the show to ask about your guides. Whether like Natalie asked, she says, "What are the message from my guide?" Like keep in touch with your guides, keep in touch with your dreams, because your intuition just might save your life. I know it saved my life a few times, and that is just one way to prep. And you can prep in other practical ways too, but also the intuition, the
And,
spirit world, your guides will
and tell
definitely
everybody how
keep your safety in mind.
and tell everybody how they can reach you, Angela.
Okay, so sure, you can go to my Facebook page. You can just go into Google and type in Angela Boley, psychic portrait artist. You'll see my website come up, and you'll see my Facebook page by the same name. And of course, you can also email me. I think my email address was somewhere down there. I've got it also on my Facebook page, asupersquirrel@gmail.com. I know you laugh at that. It is funny. I love it though. And of course, it just stick around because if you page my Facebook page and my website, I also have an Instagram account as well. You can follow me on. I put announcements on there and my schedule up here. And towards the end of March, I will start doing in-person psychic fairs, and there will be one at the mansion I do every month. I go to the Anchorage Mansion in Marietta, and that's coming up the end of the month, and I will do readings there, and there'll be other readers there. No, it's not a psychic fair there, but I just do that every month at the Haunted Anchorage Mansion. And I also do the holistic health and psychic fairs. So you can actually go to the holistic health and psychic fairs because I'm usually at their events too.
All right, and you can find me all
Any other
across social
questions
media.
tonight?
Thank you so much, everybody. You can find me all across social media. You can find me on SWPI Pekin for our paranormal shows. You can find me right here for the Fright Files show, which airs every Monday at 9 Central and every Friday at 9 Central. And we count down 7 frightful stories from the least frightful to the most frightful. You can also find me on Otherworld Hypnosis with my hypnosis business because I am a certified licensed hypnotherapist. I treat everything from stress, anger, fears, colds, flus, colds, excuse me, stress, anger, fears, smoking habits, um, just anything you need help with using hypnosis. It's a very calming, relaxing environment. I never put anybody completely to sleep. Everybody is clearly awake when I do the hypnosis. I don't put anybody to sleep. It's very wonderful. You can also find me on my photography page, Otherworld Photography, as well as my hypnotherapy page, Otherworld Hypnosis. You can find me here for my grizzly shows. You can also find me at MUFON.com. That's where we investigate UFO sightings. And if you have a sighting, maybe it's a past sighting or a current sighting, it doesn't matter. We love to hear from you. So anybody who has UFO sighting, please report it to MUFON. We want to hear from you. Even if you're not sure, report it anyway. So we have tools and techniques to find out if you really had a sighting or not. Maybe what you saw turns out to be drones, birds, planes, numerous things. And so it doesn't matter the age of the sighting. Maybe it's a 50-year-old story. Still, we want to hear from it. We love to categorize. We love to hear from everybody. Take those reports, and then we got a CMS database system. We put all the reports in. So we love to hear from you if you have a sighting. And also my paranormal page, SWPI Pekin, for our paranormal show. We got new episodes coming up real soon. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to everybody that came here tonight. Hope you had an amazing time, and we will definitely see you again next week. And Dr. Fright will be here shortly for his show at 9 p.m. Central. And also a big thanks to Angela for her wonderful work here. I love
thank
it.
you so much for coming. Thank you so much, Chris, and you're also very knowledgeable, and I do appreciate it. I think this is a great combination, you and I, in this show. Thank you so much for everybody on the chat. If you have any further questions, please save it for next time, and we'll see you then.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much.